How old should a child be before you put him or her in front of a computer? Some experts are now saying that a 1-month-old infant can start to interact with a computer. Here at this nursery school, 3- and 4-year-old children are working very well with computers. Indeed, sometimes it seems that children work better with computers than adults do. Today, we take a look at computers and kids on this edition of the Computer Chronicles.
The Computer Chronicles is made possible by Leading Edge, makers of IBM-compatible computer systems, including word processing with spelling correction, communication software, and Hayes-compatible modems. Leading Edge with over 1,000 service centers nationwide. Leading Edge, leading the way to the information age. Additional funding is provided by McGraw-Hill, publishers of Byte. Byte's detailed technical articles on new hardware, software, and languages cover developments in computer technology worldwide.
Welcome to the Computer Chronicles. I'm Stewart Cheifet, and with me this week is George Morrow. George, I've got some computer newsletters here. These are not written by Esther Dyson or Jan Lewis. These are written by a teenager in New York, and as it says on the masthead, this thing is called Kids Computer News, by kids, for kids. George, we're talking about children and computers today, and we've all seen the fascination that kids have with computers. Why is that, do you think?
Well, I think for adults are convinced that computers are complicated, and they're really not. Children don't know any better and just kind of fall into it. It's interesting. When you're young, it's a lot easier to learn. Also, computers, people that deal with them usually end up making some mistakes. Adults hate to make mistakes. Kids are always making mistakes, and making a mistake with a computer isn't any different than having your mother tell you that you've left your shoes on the floor. So the environment, it's much more conducive for kids to learn about than adults.
George, we're going to find out today. We're going to meet several very talented young children, young people who deal with computers and do some incredible things with computers. And we're going to start out by meeting Harold Sexton, a 15-year-old from Palo Alto, California.
Duke Sexton is 16 years old. He's been using computers since junior high school, not just for games and homework, but for programming and hacking as well. He began with an Apple II, which he used to run his own bulletin board. But he quickly graduated to a Macintosh Plus, which he plans to use to publish his own magazine on computer security.
Hacking and phreaking and everything in that area has been escalating for a while now, in the past 5 years, and corporations need help in that extent, and there aren't very many publications out that help in computer security. And so that's one of the main reasons I am putting out the magazine.
Duke spends a lot of time in front of the keyboard. He attends a special high school that allows him to concentrate all his classes in the morning, leaving his afternoons free to work on his magazine. Duke's extracurricular life didn't always revolve around computers. He's a capable athlete and plays in a local rock band. But he admits that at least part of what makes computers appealing to his generation is the thrill of hacking.
For the first people, I think that is what makes them very exciting, and the fact that you can, I mean, if like the Computer Underground got together, I mean, it could bring, I mean, a powerful situation or corporation or something like that to its knees and render it helpless. But I think that is part of the excitement.
Duke hopes to make his career in new computer applications, especially in the fields of biotechnology and robotics for artificial limbs. While Duke has his school to thank for his early interest in computers, he thinks that a lot of other students are scared off by the way the technology is presented. They
always say, you know, well, the computer is infallible, but it's the programmer that, you know, causes all the trouble. And I mean, that frightens, I think, some students away from it, because when they do make an error, they're going, oh my gosh, you know, how could this happen to me?
With us in the studio now are Laura Risk, who's 12 years old and from San Francisco. Next to Laura is Ben Wu, who's 13 and from San Jose. And next to Ben is Aaron Arakawa, 11 years old from Los Altos Hills, California. George?
Laura, what is it that you find interesting about computers? Tell us.
The way that they can do stuff real fast without hardly any input. And the way that there's so much, I mean, they're real small in comparison with
Lots of
what
power
they
in
can
a
do.
small space, huh? Ben?
Well, I like the different things that a computer can do. It can help you with like reports, or you want to print out some graphics or anything for school. And also computers is always advancing and it's developing, so there's always something new you can try.
So you're saying it's practical, not only fun to play with.
Yeah,
Helps you in school. Aaron, why do you like computers?
Well, I like computers because they give me, they help me with my homework, and I can also be creative on it. And
like in the programming.
And there's an unlimited amount of things that you can do on it.
Well, you guys have each written programs, which you're going to show us now, Laura, and I want to start with you. And you have a game up here which you wrote. Tell us about the game and play it for us, Laura.
Well, there's this turtle right there.
Okay.
And you're trying to get to the finish, which is the ocean. And you're avoiding the eagles and the dogs, and there's no dogs until the next level.
Okay, well, show us how you would play it now.
And you can move forward by pressing the F key, and left, and forward.
How did you program the eagles? What did you tell them to do?
I said, for every time I go forward, you go forward, or back, or something like that.
To move in concert with the turtle.
Yeah, and...
Okay, show us how, would the turtle get caught? Can you show us how a turtle would get caught by an eagle in that game?
Okay.
So you can see every time you do a turtle move, your eagles each respond in a unique way, huh? And you wrote this using Logo, right, Laura?
Logo Writer. It's a combination of Logo and word processing.
How long did it take you to write this program?
Let's see.
Whoop. Lucky the eagle just missed you. Okay. Did you do that? I want you to talk while you're doing that, if you can, Laura. Did you write this just for fun, or was it a challenge to figure this out? Or was it a school project?
I wrote it because I wanted to see if I could.
Okay, that's a good enough
How long did
reason.
you spend on it, Laura?
See, now I just got caught.
Yeah.
About a week and a half or something. It's not done yet. I want to work on this.
It had some bugs then, huh?
Yeah, a lot.
Ben, I want to ask you to take over the Apple if you can and get your program loaded up in a second.
Okay.
So could you sort of...
Laura, is it fun finding those bugs?
Yeah.
Here, move over there.
If you can take your disc out, Laura, and I want Ben to get his things up. What was your question, George?
I've always found it fun finding bugs in programs, and I just wonder whether Laura found it fun also.
Sometimes it's fun, but if it keeps coming up over and over, it's not.
Yeah, it gets beginning frustrating, yeah.
When you say you're going to improve the program, how are you going to improve it? You're still working
Well,
on it.
I was thinking, if an eagle or a dog gets you, then there's this big picture of the turtle and the eagle reaching out and picking it up, or the dog.
Oh, you're going to change the screen then to make it more graphic when he gets caught.
And also have have it, when the turtle gets to the end, the picture of the turtle lying in the sun on the ocean beach.
Ben, tell us what your program is here. What are you showing?
All right. Well, right here it just showed some randomly generated lines and dots. You know, just simple techniques in BASIC.
So this program's written in BASIC?
Yes, it's written in BASIC. And this display right here is not randomly generated, and it takes a lot longer time because you have to create it step by step. Now, this part of the program that I created, you can draw by using this joystick. And what it says is you hold down button 1 to draw and button 2 to change color. So what you do is you hold down this button 1 here, and you can draw lines or circles or anything you like. And you can hit button 2 to change color to the color you like. You can draw again.
So it's a paint program.
Yeah.
You're a paint program, written in BASIC.
Yes.
Great.
And the only drawback to it is that the joystick is really sensitive, so it wouldn't be able to draw very clearly. Maybe if you have a Koala pad, it might be able to work better.
What's the next part of your program, Ben?
All right. Right here, by using one of these number keys, you can play a tune.
So you've turned the number keys into a keyboard there.
Yeah, just like a music keyboard. And I'll hit 0 to continue.
Okay.
All right, and music and graphics are some things that the computer is really good at, and it can also calculate with really great speed. And right now it's going to have a combination of graphics and sounds, and what it's going to do first is going to introduce itself as the Apple IIe. And I used a program called SAM to talk. I changed it a bit, but since it doesn't have a speech synthesizer, it's going to be not so clear, but if you listen carefully, you should be able to hear it.
Okay, it's about to come up?
Yes.
Okay, we'll listen for it.
It's loading now, right?
Okay, you
Not bad.
Okay.
Now you have a more complicated graphics program coming, don't you?
All right. Right here, it's just some different colored lines. And right now, it's drawing some circles. Now, for some other computers, you would just type circle and you can draw it. But for the Apple II, you need to give it special equations so that it can do that.
So you're having the machine calculate these equations as it draws a circle. And these are great circles on a sphere then, right?
And it's going to appear to be a three-dimensional sphere. After this is drawn, it's going to have a three-note harmony, which should not be able to be created, but by playing notes really close together, makes a bubbly sound, but it still sounds like a harmony.
Okay, and the Apple can't play three notes at the same time, right? But you tried it.
Yeah, I tried it.
Okay, we're going to hear it now? It's looking for the music.
Ah, yeah.
Sounds like harmony to me. Ben, I'm going to have to ask you to unload your disk. I want Aaron to get his program in-house, if you can get that out of there. And as soon as it stops singing, Aaron, you can get your program in there. Okay. While Aaron is loading, Ben, tell me about that program. Did you write that again just for the challenge of it, or what?
Yeah, well, I wanted to see how I can create circles because I've always wanted to do something like that.
Okay, Aaron, you have a very fast-loading program. You're ready to go, so show us what you wrote.
Yeah, okay. Well, this is a voting program. I designed it for my school because we have a student council, and I use this program for the elections. And here it gives you some little
So show us how you would use it, Aaron.
And I can't make a printout of it, so...
Right.
So I type no. See, continue. Okay, now I'm going to the setup section. Okay. And this is the part I'm saving the votes onto the disk. And so I type in the name I want to save it under. So I type, oops.
Okay.
Okay, how many for president?
Okay, so you're kind of loading into how many candidates there are for each office. Okay.
And now I input the president's
names
name.
of the candidates. We're just calling P1, P2, etc.
Aaron, you wrote this in what language?
I'm in BASIC.
Okay. And you really wrote this to use it for your class elections in school, right?
Looks like this is a voting machine.
Well, I think that's what we're about to see, yeah. So it's storing to disk all the candidates' names, right, as you put them in, Aaron? Okay, so we've got 2 candidates for each of 4 offices, huh?
Right.
And what happens once you get to that point?
Well, okay, this is the voting part. Okay, so say I just came up here and I said, well, I want this P1 guy for president, and then
Okay, so as George says, you really invented a voting machine here for students to vote in their class elections on the computer.
Right.
And you actually have used this in an election.
Right.
How did it work? Pretty good?
Yeah, except I kind of messed it up in one part because I used the same file name twice and wrote over the old file.
You'll improve it. Guys, I'm sorry we have to move on. Now, lots of young people are involved in bulletin board systems, and we're going to meet a 13-year-old junior high school student now who runs his own board on his new Apple II GS. Wendy Woods has the report.
Bill Bennett has a paper route every day after school, but that's where his similarity to most kids his age ends. The bundles of mail he gets each day tell you something about the importance and popularity of what Bill calls his hobby. Bill, at 13, runs a computer bulletin board on his Apple II GS. It's a 24-hour system with the largest number of discussion topics in the Bay Area. He put it together himself, and it all started 5 years ago when he was 8.
My father bought, about 5 years ago, an Apple II Plus, and I just got interested in it through school. Our school was teaching us about how to use it, and, you know, it just seemed like an interesting thing, and if it's there, why not use it?
Bill started with games, but the world opened to him when he got a modem. He was fascinated by the information he could get by calling local bulletin boards. That's when he decided to start his own.
The information is now coming to me. Before it was coming, you know, I would have to go chase it down and call the local bulletin board systems or whatever and find it all out. But now it's coming and then it's being saved right here on my computer, and it's a lot more convenient. Also, I enjoy running it because on another bulletin board system, I can, you know, get my feelings out, and, you know, I can ask questions and everything, but I can't exactly run it how I want and put what I want on it and, you know, choose how it looks and everything.
You can see how Bill got interested in computers. His dad has one he uses for business. And his little brother Steve inherited Bill's old Apple II. In fact, the only one without a computer at home is his mother, Jean. She says living with a computer addict is a challenge.
It was quite an adjustment for someone who didn't even know what a computer was until it walked in when he was 8 years old. And he's a total addict. He really is. It's hard to get him out of his room for anything, whether it's dinner or, you know, anything.
Since installing a second phone line for Bill's bulletin board, she says their home life is running smoother. But it's clear the family is proud of their whiz kid and can only wonder what kind of a career he's shaping for himself by this valuable computer experience. In case you'd like to call Bill's board, the number for Cat's Tail is area code 415-349-TAIL. How did he get the name for the board? Well, it's named after his favorite comic strip character, Bill the Cat. In San Mateo, California, for the Computer Chronicles, I'm Wendy Woods.
We have several new youngsters joining us in the studio now. First of all, Aaron Epstein, who's a 13-year-old student from Walnut Creek. And next to Aaron is Clifton Dalgard, 12 years old from San Jose. And next to Clifford, Robin Lee, who's also 12 and also from San Jose. George?
Tell us what it's like in school and in your family to be a computer expert.
Well, in school, there's no effect. A lot of my friends like computers for the games, and we like trading games. And sometimes they ask me for help with their programs in class. And at home, my dad encourages me to keep programming. And the rest of my family, it's nothing different.
Clifton, what about you?
I also have a positive result in my school also. My friends enjoy my help to them in computer programming, and my dad, also a computer programmer, gives me help in what I need.
Robin?
Okay, mine is also a positive attitude because people sort of use me as a resource. You know, you gotta help this guy, you gotta call across the room. And, you know, you help teachers as well.
You end up learning a lot.
So bottom line is you know a lot of stuff that other people want your help on.
Yeah, need a lot of help.
Aaron, let's go to you. And you've written a program. Show us what your program is about.
My program is called Teachers, and it teaches you 5 different functions that we had in one of our sessions in our textbooks. And
computer functions. Right?
Yeah.
It teaches you about computer functions.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
And first it says if you want to take a test or lesson. And the lessons are for integers, square roots, random lengths, or mid-strings.
Okay.
And then first it gives you the definition, and then it tells you about it, how to use it.
Okay, this is integers right now, for example?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Aaron, it's written in BASIC?
Yeah, it's in BASIC. And the test, it gives you 1 question for each
Okay, so this is the first question on integers. What is the integer for, that very long number you've written there?
Yeah.
Okay, and the answer? Okay, and there's a question about random numbers?
Aaron, how long did it take you to write the program?
About 4 or 5 days in class.
Okay,
you think
third question is, I'm sorry, Georgie, about square roots.
Yeah. Is it finished, or are you still working on it?
Yeah, it's never really finished. You can always add things to it.
Okay, and this question is about string commands here. Okay, and what's your last one about there?
It's about mid-strings.
Okay, so what is the output of mid-string, W string, comma, 4, comma, 2 plus E, if W string is Molly? And the answer is?
Y.
Yeah.
Okay.
Super. Good.
Now, did you write this just for the fun of it, or the challenge of it, or?
Well, for extra credit.
That's a good enough reason.
Yeah, and also, It's fun just adding things to it and creating different things on the computer.
Aaron, I'm going to ask you to take your disk out of there and move the computer over to Clifton so we can have Clifton show us his program. You said, while you're loading Clifton, Aaron, you've only been programming for about 4 months, you said.
Yeah.
Do you find it a challenge? What's the experience when you're programming? I mean, you stay up all night like a lot of kids do?
Sometimes I'm up really late, and because sometimes I find bugs in it, and I just work on them and then I find new things I can do. Yeah. So I can keep picking up different things to do along the way.
Clifton, you're on. What's your program?
Okay, my program is called Teach Type, and it teaches you how to type. It's like a typing tutor.
Okay.
Okay.
Clifton, how long have you been programming?
2 years now. And right now I'm poking a number to make sure my program doesn't mess up during its stages.
It's a courageous programmer who pokes in a live demonstration here.
Okay. I have my title screen, and then it shows you a list of its lessons. And
different keys to practice on?
To practice on. And now I'm going to work on the home keys, which are the first 8 keys. It tells you where to position your keys, or what are the keys, and now it's telling you to type keys. And if I mess up, it'll tell you that's not right, and it'll record the number you get wrong. See, you got one stroke wrong. Now I'm going to try a drill, and my drill is random. It picks a letter in the home keys, and it tells you to type it.
So the top line's generating a letter, and the second line you're typing it.
Yeah, and what's hard about this, because most documents you write or type, you'll be able to see the wording. This one, it'll give you it instantly, so it's a challenge.
Clifton, how long have you been working on this program?
About 3 weeks now.
Okay, now what happened just then? You got an answer?
Okay, I finished, and this thing, my program has a clock ready that records your time, and it told me I got 11 words per minute.
Okay, so then that particular drill, you were going 11.4 words per minute. How about if you want to know how many errors you had made?
Well, I'm adding that also, and what errors is X, and it'll tell me I made only 1 error. So
Clifton, you did your own real-time clock then?
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, I want to, Clifton, that's the idea. Move the computer over to Robin, and if you can boot your disk up, Robin, while you're doing that, Clifton, let me ask you again, did you do this just for the fun of it, or actually people you think will use this to learn how to type?
Well, when I was making this program, I was in a typing elective, and I wanted to find a better way to teach how them to type, because...
You use the computer to help you in your own work then?
And then, so I was about to enter this into the typing class,
See,
so...
That's my principle, that the fellow that needs the program either
write it right. That's right. Okay, Robin, tell us what your program is.
Okay, what my program does, it teaches the user about positive and negative numbers. And what it does, it generates a random number that you have to enter a positive number and a negative number, and when you add them together, they've got to equal that number itself.
Okay, but this is in a game form, right? Describe the game format you laid out here.
Okay, well, what I did is I split out the screen so you'd be able to distinguish from your scanner and all. And then the actual stuff, it would...
So you randomly assign a number to the enemy, to the alien striker, which say 49 is the number right now, and how would you then play the game?
Then, okay, right now your positive blaster, or that's where you enter your positive number. Let's just say 49, 50.
Okay.
And then you got a negative number that you've got to enter as well, so let's just say 1. Fire away a little while, and then you got to hit.
And you're right, okay, so your new enemy is a 33.
Yeah, and they'll... with the new revised one, you'd be able to decide how many you'd have. But it's
so you're still working on this program too, like everybody else.
How long have you been working on it?
So far, 2 weeks with, intervals. I didn't work continuously.
First cut. How long have you been programming?
A year. But
what's the excitement, the pleasure you get out of programming, Robin? Tell us about the experience.
Well, I guess just writing the program kind of gives me pleasure, because to have that feeling that you actually did something on the computer. And
you made that machine do what you wanted it to do, right?
And let's just say you got something wrong. It would miss and then tell you the answer. Got to delay a little longer, and then it would just keep going like that until it reached the number of aliens that you wanted to.
Okay, so all 3 of you are still working on your programs, and you're going to make them even better. And we're out of time. Thank you very much for being here. Hope you enjoyed Computers and Kids, and we'll be back in just a minute with this week's Computer News. Random Access File this week, mixed reviews so far on the two new Macintosh computers. The lower-end new machine is the Mac SE. It's an upgrade of the Mac Plus and features one expansion slot and 2 drives. The expansion slot can take a new board from AST that will let you run MS-DOS software on the Mac SE. It's priced at $2,900 and up, and it's available now. Most attention is being focused on the new 32-bit Mac 2, built around the Motorola 68020 microprocessor. The Mac 2 is 4 times as fast as a Mac Plus, and it has 6 expansion slots. The Mac 2 can also drive a color monitor. It comes in 3 pieces with separate keyboard, computer, and monitor. The Mac 2 can also run MS-DOS software with the new AST board in one of its expansion slots. The Mac 2 can also run Unix with an optional board. Base price for the Mac 2 is $4,800. Shipments will begin in May. One analyst described the Mac 2 as the most powerful personal computer now on the market, saying it was superior to the new compact Desk Pro 386. CD-ROM technology got a major shot in the arm this week with the announcement of a new CD-ROM product from Microsoft called Bookshelf. It's a CD-ROM containing a complete dictionary, a spelling checker, a thesaurus, Bartlett's quotations, the World Almanac, several style and form references, and a national zip code directory, which can automatically find the zip code for any address. All of this comes on one compact disc. The disc and an IBM-compatible CD-ROM drive will sell for $1,100. The drive is made by Hitachi, but it's being sold under the Amdek brand name. Time for this week's software review, and here's Paul Schindler.
Excuse me, I was just making comments on someone else's report. Is this what people do to your work when you pass it around for comment? Maybe it's time you tried 4Comment. Now, 4Comment is one of the first packages in a new software category, group writing software. I don't know any large organization that doesn't pass around documents for approval. The problem with passing around paper is keeping track of who made what changes. No problem here. Use a menu to select a file. The cover sheet shows who wrote the file and who it was sent to. Anyone can comment, but only the author can make actual changes to the text. The text is in the upper window. You can produce it with any word processor. Each dot you see at the left indicates a suggested change or comment. In the bottom, reversed blocks are suggested deletions, yellow type is additions, and white text shows the original. Each comment contains the person's initials and date. With one key, you can swap in a revision if you accept it. 4Comment, group writing software for $200 from Broderbund in San Rafael, California. For the Computer Chronicles, I'm Paul Schindler.
Fujitsu has announced a breakthrough in language translation software. It's unveiled a package called Atlas One, which can translate English into Japanese virtually instantaneously. The computer screen displays 2 columns. You enter text in English in one column, and the computer displays the Japanese translation on the other side. Fujitsu also announced Atlas 2, which translates from Japanese into English. That's it for this week's Chronicles. We'll see you next time.
The Computer Chronicles is made possible by Leading Edge, makers of IBM-compatible computer systems, including word processing with spelling correction, communication software, and Hayes-compatible modems. Leading Edge with over 1,000 service centers nationwide. Leading Edge, leading the way to the information age. Additional funding is provided by McGraw-Hill, publishers of Byte. Byte's detailed technical articles on new hardware, software, and languages cover developments in computer technology worldwide.